Okay, here's my quick tube top tutorial. Took me all of about 15 minutes to make it. Really simple. I wanted to wear a tube top on Sunday, but didn't have one, but God knows I have plenty of fabric. Okay, so my fabric, I have fabric that's roughly, it's about 36 inches long, which is a yard. And knit fabric is wider than woven fabric anyway. So this is about, I guess like 58, 60 inches wide. So I folded my fabric in half so that I have a piece that's 17 inches long, and I wanted my tube top to be doubled. And just put a casing in the top. Like, I really made this very, very simple. I wanted it to be doubled. And I wanted my top, before I do any hemming or anything, 17 inches long. That way I have room for a casing at the top and I have room to hem it. So mine is 17 inches long. I'm gonna cut it roughly 18 inches wide. So that way when it's really doubled, you know it's 36 inches, which would be the width, you know, around my bust line, roughly. So I'm just gonna sort of even this out. This way. Even it out at the bottom. And it does not have to be perfect. I'm gonna hem it, and any imperfections I can fix later on. So if I want 17 inches, I'm sorry, 18 inches wide, 18 inches would be right here. So I'm just gonna do myself a little snip there. Okay, I'm gonna cut here. So basically it's 18 inches wide. And I'm going to open it up like this. And then I'm gonna sew along this seam here. I'm not gonna cut across the top, I'm just gonna basically fold it. So I'm gonna sew along this seam here. Okay, so sewing the seam here. Okay, knit fabric, because it's stretchy, it has a tendency to get sort of stuck in your machine here when you get started sewing. So what I do is just put a piece of paper under it, and that'll help it get some traction. You could, there's a twin needle you could use for knit, you're supposed to use for knits, and then there's also this stretchy stretchy thread you could use for knit, but I didn't do that because I didn't want to take that time. So I'm just gonna sew it on a zigzag stitch because that'll give it a little bit more ease. So just start sewing. And the paper, see how the paper helps you just roll right over the knit. I can go tear away my paper. Just turn it right side out. And I want to fold it so that it's in half. So I just find my seams. Here's the seam. Here's the seam. Match the seams up. That way that'll give me, you know, a nice sturdy tank top. kind of pin the bottom so that it stays in place for me. Okay, don't need that many. Should work. Okay. So all you do from here, the folded part is the top, and this is my bottom. So I'm gonna sew along the top. I'm gonna do a zigzag stitch along here. My elastic is 1 inch wide, so I'm gonna find me a marker on the machine that's maybe like 1 1/4 inch, 1.5 inches. So then my elastic would fit through here. And then I'm just gonna turn this hem up and zigzag along the hem. On the edge of this line, then that'll help you have a nice even casing, an even amount all the way around. And just so, keeping in mind, keeping the edge of your fabric on this line. Still have my zigzag stitch. Normally you'd leave an opening for your casing so you could put your elastic through, but just doing this quick little this little tube top I did, and what I'm going to do is just cut an opening right here in the seam because it's knit and it won't fray, and then I'll sew it closed. Like I said, I wanted this to be quick. Okay. So for the bottom, it's a double layer because we folded it. All I did was just fold the whole thing in half, fold it all, and stitch around. I'm just matching up my ends as I go. And you could, you know, measure this precisely and pin it out so that it's all even all around. I tend to not do that because I just want it done. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna go in the inside. I know this is the inside because I already hemmed it. In the inside, and where I didn't leave an opening, I'm just gonna open it up with my seam ripper a little bit just so I can get the elastic in there. And it only needs to be opened a little bit. Like you could measure this all out in the beginning and leave your opening in the seam, but like I said, I wanted it to be quick. Okay, so with my elastic, I'm gonna take it and put it on my body as soon as I find the end. Here we go. And measure the distance around my underarm, above my bust. Above my bust, under my arms. Okay, so I'll just put a little pin here so I know how long this is. So, above of my bust line is, say, 26 inches. I'll make it. So I'm going to cut this 26 inches. Add a little bit so I can lap the elastic over. You cut yours whatever your measurement is, okay? Then you put the pin on the end of your elastic, and I have to feed it through this casing we created. And what I'm going to do, because it's a shorter piece of elastic, is pin the end of it to my top so that I make sure I don't lose it inside as I'm pulling it through. Okay, so just feed that all the way through. So now I have my two ends. I'm going to pin them together so I can kind of stretch it out and pull all the elastic inside the casing. You know what, I'm going to pin it to the top so that I don't lose it. Okay, now you just sort of pull it to stretch it all in there. Okay, I'm going to feel for it and make sure it's not folded over anywhere or twisted, and it is not. Take my safety pin out. There's one end that was a little twisted. I can pull it. Grab my other end real quick. Okay. Here's the other end. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, so we're good. Lap this one or one over the other. And we just sew the two pieces together. Lap your elastic one over the other. Leave a pin in there to keep it in place for me. And then I just use zigzag stitching. Forward, again, backwards. Okay, then I'll cut my extra off here. Just pull it through. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to pull it over a little bit. Put a pin in it for me. To stitch right along the seam. Opening closed, and that kind of helps keep my elastic in place too. I'll cut off all these strings afterwards. And that, my friends, is it.